Good afternoon, good evening. This will be like a bilingual conversation. I'm not sure if you recognize Mitta from the film. And I'm hoping you remember the badass entry from Rehema Tajiri. And this is Queen Asher. Now, Queen Asher wasn't in the film, but Queen Asher is Rehema's daughter. And they perform together now, and they're going to perform on Friday at Bygone and Mitta tomorrow. So I'm just going to, Asher and I are going to do the best job we can do with translating from Kiswahili to English. So bear with us. So just off the top, I just wanted to ask them what has changed in the 5 years since the documentary was filmed. So I'll just open that up and then. Kwa nauliza baada ya miaka mitano, maisha yalivyobadilika yaanza wewe, baada ya miaka mitano ni kuanzia ile miaka 2018 mpaka sasa vitu vilivyobadilika kwako.
Nashukuru Mungu nimepata show nyingi kutoka Europe. Mimi namshukuru Mungu kwa miaka hiyo nimepata show nyingi kutoka nje ya nchi kupitia muziki wangu wa Singelli. Mabadiliko mengi yametokea kwangu.
Si ufafanue.
Ufafanue.
Au? Haya basi. Okay. Oh wait, so Mitta says a lot has changed. He's traveled a lot. He's been producing a lot of music. And I was like, well, can you go deeper into it? And we had the little chuckle. So I'll move on to Rehema and then maybe we'll break the ice and get comfortable. Rehema, maisha yalivyobadilika au tofauti kuanzia hivyo kuni film mpaka sasa hivi?
Kwanza napenda nitoe shukrani sana kwa kutualika CTM katika festival yao kubwa. Jambo la kwanza kumshukuru Mungu.
Pole ili ni tafsiri.
Okay, lakini
I'd first like to thank CTM Festival for having us here and I'd like to thank God.
Miaka mitano ni safari ndefu, lakini namshukuru Mungu nilikofikia ni pazuri kwa sababu nimeanza muziki muda mrefu sana, lakini kwa huu wa Singelli naweza nikasema umenipa nafasi ndefu sana ya kutambulika zaidi, japokuwa ndo safari yangu ya kwanza kuja kuperform nje ya nchi.
Lakini
hapo unaongea kwa kitu alafu na translate.
Haya basi.
Okay, she says like for 5 years she has developed in her career. And what else did you say?
She's been working in music for a long time, and in the past 5 years, a lot of transformation has happened, especially with Singelli music.
Singeli Movement ni muziki ambao unatokea Tanzania, ni muziki wetu wa Kiswahili, lakini kitu ambacho nachofurahia kwangu mimi age yangu au umri wangu umefanya nionekane mtu wa tofauti kuimba muziki wa Singelli. Kwa hiyo na furahi sana kuona umri wangu na kuweza kuimba muziki ambao kule Tanzania wanaimba sana vijana.
I would specifically like to focus on my age as someone who is in my age group and doing music that the youth generally do. I'm really happy that I still have a voice at this age, and I'm using Singelli to continue my artistry.
Mengine ni nafurahi sana kuwepo katika hii safari ya muziki wangu wa Singeli narudia tena pale, kwa sababu nisingekuwa naimba Singeli nisingeweza kufika Berlin Ujerumani. Kwa hiyo ni moja fursa kwangu ni kubwa sana, na nimefurahi sana kuwa hapa kwa muziki wa Singeli.
Singelli is what's opened doors for Rehema to travel, and so she can be here today in Germany because of Singelli, and that's what Singelli music has done for her. So Asher,
Yes.
when this was filmed, you're not in the film. What were you doing in 2018?
Okay, 2018, I was in college. Yeah, still.
And what were you studying in college?
International relations and diplomacy. Yeah,
And what happened in between?
okay.
Like, how are you here? How do you end up here? 2018, 2023.
Yeah, I finished in 2019. It was hard to get job here and there. So I just decided to follow my mom's footsteps somehow, and here I am. Yeah.
And how did you start following your mom's footsteps?
It was back in 2020. I escorted her to Uganda for the, was it
Nyege
Nyege? Yeah, kind of Nyege Nyege party. And when I went there, something just came up and I was like, okay, I see so many Singelli DJs are male, so I just want to change the game and just get in there as our first female Singelli DJ. So that's how it came. And here right now I am the first Tanzanian female Singelli DJ.
Come on, where's the claps? So do you want to talk to us about your journey? Just want to focus you on a little bit. How has it been as a female entering the sphere? Mitta is one of your mentors, is it?
Yeah.
Na
Yeah,
mzoe
he taught.
Ya,
mwalimu wake sio?
nilikuwa mwalimu wake kidogo.
Yeah, he was among the first teachers. I mean, he and Siso were the first people who taught me for a while. But because of the distance between, the place that I live and their studio, the place that they are, it was hard to go like each and every time that I want to get the lessons. So I found some people who are living near me, and that's they're not part of Siso Record, but they're good guys. Rehema and Martin. Yeah, Marty. So that's when everything came to our place. So my journey, it was kind of hectic, tough, as a female. People don't take us serious, maybe in Tanzania especially. So when you want to do something, they just take you, she's just a woman, she's just a female, so she can do this. She want to be a DJ, she can't make it. Especially for the Singelli, because it's a hard thing and it was just for male, so I just proved them wrong. Some people were not cooperative, some DJs, some producers weren't cooperative, but every hard thing has to have a solution, so I just did everything I could, and here I am.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
So initially, watching the film, I figured it was very self-explanatory, tracing the history, the social cultural history of Tanzania, from Nyerere to, it skipped a little part of Bongo Flava, which is started in hip hop, having our own genre of music, which came in the 90s after coming from a long, socialist failure experiment. Under Nyerere's government, the youth started speaking and using Bongo Flava, and that has evolved in the streets of Dar es Salaam to Singelli. So being the film was self-explanatory, I wanted to make this an open conversation whereby I wanted to open it up to the audience earlier so that we can have a dialogue and a back and forth and me and Asha will try his best to translate as we go for Rehema and Mitta. Is that Aye,
Okay.
no? Any audience participation? Questions? Jan, you have a question?
Yeah, exactly about what you just mentioned. Between 97.
Wait.
Yeah, exactly what we just mentioned. What was going on between 97 and 2003, 2005? That's my question.
For me or for everyone?
Okay.
I think for
Like
each of them
in what?
individually.
In the music
Yeah,
scene
yeah,
or?
in the music. So I guess for both Rehema and Mitta, it would be how did they arrive to doing Singelli?
Okay,
Like what kind of music would they would be just before?
okay. Kwa hiyo nauliza
Eh,
miaka ya 1997 mpaka 2003 mlikuwa mnafanya nini na mlikuwa mnafanya mziki gani? Au kama mlikuwa mko kuni mziki?
sababu yetu tunafanya muziki wa bongo flavor.
Mitta used to do bongo flavor.
Okay, and answering for my mom, in 2002 kuna kufanya zouk. Yeah, so 2000, yeah, the year 2000 to 2007, she was doing zouk rumba, and she came to dance. You started dance, then zouk rumba. Yeah, she started with dance 2000 to 2007. Then she did rumba for some years until 2018. 2018, that's when she transformed to Singelli. That's when she started Singelli.
Na hii dance unamaanisha like
Dance,
band,
the Congolese, yeah, band.
So she sang in a band singing Congolese music. And then in the late 2010s, entered the Singelli arena.
And how was that time in Tanzania different from how life is today? Maybe that's. Yeah, I know it's a very broad question, but yeah, were the 90s and early 00s somehow different?
So the 90s in Tanzania, it's we're coming off Ujamaa, which was the socialism, and the country's opening up to foreign direct investment. So with that comes the insistence that our national language is now English, and that is to capture funding from the World Bank and the IMF. So changes like that happening, music becomes open because beforehand the state had a long arm when it comes to creativity, as in everything was somewhat geared towards the propaganda of Ujamaa, of the propaganda of like this, what we've chosen, this socialist ideal is what we're doing and this is what's working. So it really influenced the output. And even at some point, then hip hop started making its way in the streets. The youth found a way to use hip hop to describe their everyday. And just like Singelli, it had its a lot of pushback and also seen as music from hooligans. And so then I believe in the late 90s, that's when, or early 90s, then they started playing bongo flavor on the radio stations. So it starts off slowly, then it's parties, and now bongo flavor is a formidable, like credible creative industry monster whereby artists today are millionaires and living the capitalist hip-hop dream per se. And so what I can juxtapose is that Singelli is like going through that same like pushback that bongo flavor. So eventually over time, as it's also being co-opted by a lot of the popular musicians because they know it has weight and it travels to the people. So sometimes you have the big stars like Diamond, Zuchu. These are all like well, big pop stars in East Africa, they'll do like one Singelli track here and there to kind of temper, like, in a way it takes away from the underground, but because they won't give them the same kind of opportunities. But I would say shortly, we're seeing changes. The country, there's a huge, robust middle class. The city of Dar es Salaam has grown exponentially. We just had a census that says it's a city of 6 million, which is not accurate. But yeah. Asha, anything?
I think that's enough.
Yeah.
So sorry. So on one hand, the new system made space for all this new music coming from different social stratas. On the other hand, it was immediately recognized as something haram, right?
Yeah. So are you saying, are they making new space?
Oh no, I meant that you said that after the Ujamaa passed, new music came up, but it was immediately recognized as something with criminal background of like.
Yes,
With
somewhat, yes. Especially, you're saying, because especially like with hip hop, because the youth started fashioning themselves, borrowing motifs from gangsterism in the US, so then it was looked at as problematic. But that's also just the state being scared of what they're actually saying in the lyrics, because the lyrics there was protest music into the daily life of living in Tanzania. So then to suppress, they feared this coming of expression that they can't control. Like during Ujamaa, you'd have bands, you'd have the cotton cooperative, you'd have the coffee, you would have regional, like Kilimanjaro region, Lake Victoria, and the government created bands and music, so they controlled the music down to that level of like, it wasn't organic. It wasn't organic. So now it's out of the bag with the coming of the internet. As you can see how it's changed things. It's like there's only but so much they can do to suppress, but they still do find ways to suppress Singelli music as proclaiming it to be haram or hooligan or unruly.
and that these bands initiated by the government, they would play traditional music. What would that be?
They'll play like rumba, Congolese music, that sort. Like I don't know how to do it. Like rumba, Congolese music, band style, 60s. Think independence movement.
I have so many questions, but now that Singelli obviously has opened up to the world, it's now we have Singelli producers active in Japan. We have the sound being traveling the world. How did the music itself change? What kind of new influences is the music taking in, or is it still very, very much rooted in Tanzanian, popular culture? So I know, Asha, you were presenting some Singelli drill, which is, I think, a genre of your own making, but maybe a question to both of you. How is the movement evolving, and what kind of new influences are coming into the sound? Are you particularly influenced by something, I don't know, by Amapiano, by a conversation, because obviously a lot of big Amapiano artists coming to Dar es Salaam, or are you looking for influences from techno culture in Europe or the US? So what kind of conversation is going on for you as producers?
Okay, should I give it to Jamie?
Ariana, translate it.
Anauliza like sasa hivi kuna maproducer ambao wanafanya Singelli in Thailand, Japan, na kuna watu like muziki ambao umeevolve, kuna mapiano, kuna European things ambazo zinaingia kwenye Singelli. So tunafikiria nini au tunafanya nini au unajua?
Mnaona vitu gani vinaingia kubadilisha au kuongeza?
Singelli.
Tunavyovichanganya mule ndani
Toka nje kama.
Yani sisi tunataka
Okay, my viewpoint, like back in the days, Singelli was just about taarabu, tokomile, something like that, like African
Chiriku.
music. Yeah, we just used the beats and some samples, like drums, snares. Yeah, but right now, yeah, we have changed the music. We can take a piano beat and try to do something with the Singelli, mix it. Maybe the Europeans beats, like every what do I say? Like we mix like right now, so the music has kind of changed. Not only about the Tanzanian tokomile things, but we can do some other tracks like other culture. I mean music, and then we do it in the Singelli. Back then also, I wanted to add up with how it's changed. The Singelli, everybody spoke about their personal life, but in Tanzania right now, in the country, like not only it was like a gang music, maybe street music and other stuff, but right now it can be played in clubs, in can I say elections, like formal events. It can be played there. Some artists can go and perform. So Singelli, it's not only about the gang thing, street thing, or like as the past said, it has evolved to so many people are using it, so many people are singing it, so many people are dancing and enjoying the vibe. If
Thank
I
you.
answer.
First of all, thank you so much for doing this. Really interesting to hear about your culture. This is sort of a continuation of the last question. As you can play the music in more places and probably generate more wealth, do you find that you get better tools, and how do you feel like those tools might be influencing the music that you produce?
Okay. Yeah, zamani tulikuwa tunatumia Singelli kwa hizi tu headphone kidogo na laptop, lakini sasa hivi kumekuwa na vifaa nini ambavyo tunaongezea kwa ajili ya like tunaona mziki ambao unabadilika kukiwa na hivyo vitu.
Yani hela inasaidia kubadilisha. Hela inasaidia kubadilisha production. So Janita says that, with like the wealth that's coming, it's helping changing the tools that they use to produce. They're improving, like they're using better equipment. Inabadilika sio? Using better equipment. Does that answer your question, or?
I was sort of wondering if there's like specific new directions that it's going in. Do you feel like there's any sort of specific new potentials for the music with these new tools? It's kind of like technical, but I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the music, like it's gotten to a point that it's mutating where beyond like the origin, which was using traditional music and distorting it and speeding it up. Now there are influences like Asher does Singelli drill, right? So it's and that's Asher. So there's someone else. Actually, I was on a road trip and there was Singelli reggae that was playing on the radio, and we're like, whoa, rewind! But we couldn't rewind. It was the radio,
Yeah.
but it was like, wow. So then there are these mutations that are happening. I guess it's kind of like natural progression of things. Like like it exists in so many multiplicities now.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay.
Question.
So my question is if you think that kids around Tanzania listen to Singelli and see making music now more like a future for them, that they can somehow make a living out of Singelli now that's being like you know in Japan, Europe, there's more years now for Singelli, so maybe like more like opportunities for people to not like live in such poor conditions.
So anauliza sasa hivi tunaona yani Singelli
Inalipa.
inalipa sio?
Yeah.
Inalipa. Kwa hiyo yani siku hizi watoto wa siku hizi wanataka kufanya Singelli. Yani ni mtu anaweza kusema mimi naanza kuimba Singelli ili niishi maisha ya fulani.
Kufanya Singelli tuka uko vizuri kimaisha yani.
Au kumbuka kuna bongo flavor pia. Kwa hiyo
bongo flavor amna kwa Tanzania watu wanaanza kuimba bongo flavor. Singelli umechukulia ni kitu kama kiko pembeni. Kitolei sana watu wanadili na bongo flavor. Hasa sisi kwa watu wa chini tuliotoka chini huko tuliokuwa hali yetu ngumu tunaofagilia muziki wa Singelli. Another people wanapenda muziki mwingine.
Labda tuiweke kwamba Singelli inalipa, lakini sasa kwa Tanzania watu wanaangalia wale watu ambao ni famous, ni wakubwa huko kwenye unaona, alafu sisi kama hapa ndo tunashukuru kwamba project kama CTM ndo yeah.
So for like the average Tanzanian, because we try to like explain the trajectory of the country with like the creative industry of like the music, like bongo flavor, which is like the overarching genre for essentially Tanzanian music. Like you can put Tarab, it always falls under that umbrella. Most of the kids want to be the next Diamond Platinums, who is like a big time rapper. So that's who people are looking towards. But people from the hood, from the lower income, who do Singelli, they do Singelli. But opportunities are coming to CTM, coming abroad is where they can make a living. So those are still very key. And essentially what I do know is a lot of the big time rappers, etc., look towards the Singelli kids for the way they travel. Right? So it's weird because for them, they can tour the whole country and have hundreds of thousands, tour the whole region, hundreds of thousands, but they're very keen to CISO Records and them going to Europe. So it's like, you know, I get emails like, hey, I think you can help me get into Nyege Nyege. And it's like, yeah, they're not playing your music. And I don't know how to say it, but I'm like, sure, just apply. Let's see what happens. So there's this thing of like, they are shocked seeing what Singelli is doing for Singelli artists themselves. And so sometimes they try to do a Singelli track, but it doesn't go anywhere because the overarching is bongo flavor. And now Amapiano. Amapiano is like...
everywhere.
Parasite in this instance, like it's everywhere. Like every new track is a Amapiano, which is very unfortunate because, like the way Amapiano is in South Africa, it came from the same roots as Singelli. So it's very silly that they're like emulating Amapiano while we have our own, and it's Singelli. So that's the kind of weird situation that there is with the mainstream and underground and getting to Europe being like, oh wait, what? Yeah.
Thank you, that's cool. I have one more question.
Sure.
Where would you like to play the most? Like a festival, some like country, like the craziest.
Kwa nauliza wapi duniani festival au nchi unataka kucheza, yani ile sehemu yani umeka? Wote wanauliza maswali wote. Kwa naanza na wewe Mitta.
Tuanze na mimi?
Au?
Natamani sasa kuitambulisha Singelli Marekani. USA.
He wants to take Singelli to the US. So that to him is like
there's people here listening.
The empire. Rehema.
Nafikiri mawazo yake yalikuwa kama yangu. Ndoto yangu kufika Marekani. kwenda kutambulisha mziki wa Singeli, lakini nitarudi nyuma kidogo. Tunamshukuru sana Mr. Jan kwa sababu amerekodi nyimbo nyingi na video nyingi kuzitambulisha nje ya Tanzania, kutembea mziki wa Singeli, na sasa hivi wanamziki wengi wakubwa wa Tanzania wanarudi kwenye mziki wa Singeli, wanauliza tunapataje nafasi kama hizi. Kwa hiyo wengi sasa wanautamani na wanarekodi, lakini ndoto yangu kwenda kuimba Marekani.
So it's to the US, to take Singelli music to the US. And Rehema wanted to add as in, like she wanted to thank Mr. Yan for the videos that he makes, because of the videos he creates that even the big bongo flavor stars in Tanzania look to their videos and envy the Singeli stars and their mobility.
Okay, for me, you see, as we said back in our country, like we do good music, we do best Singelis, but who gets the promo? It's just the famous artists, you know? So talking about home, no, maybe Africa, but I would really love to work in Europe, plus America, like abroad, you know. I can't specify like just US or America, but doing my tour in US or Europe, if it's gonna be another continent, I just don't know, but any gig is better, but not home, because they don't, you know.
Cultivate, appreciate.
Yeah, I was about to say something else, but it's, yeah, it's okay. No, it's okay.
They don't want.
No, tutamini.
Yeah.
So,
Appreciate, yeah.
So yeah, they don't appreciate us. So we are very thankful and grateful for our people like Mr. Mikael and CTM, Nyege Nyege. You know, they see what we are doing and our efforts, Afropollination. You see, like every person who has been promoting Mitta, from Mitta, Cecil, Machiavelli, like they're the crew, until me now and my mom. So we are very grateful, because right now we can see like we can work and you know, send a message through our work, our talent, you see. So we are very grateful. Shout out to you guys and CTM for you know, bringing us here right now. Yeah, also Nana and Zai. The dancers, the famous queens.
Well, I'll introduce that.
That's actually the question I wanted to ask.
Yes.
How important are dancers for the performance and the parties you are doing? And because we have two wonderful ladies sitting right here.
Kwani these are dancers na performers, yani kuni mziki wako wana uzito gani kuni performance?
Kwenye performance, dancer ana kazi, nahisi kama ndo ana kazi sana ya kufanya watu wazidi kufurahi kupenda muziki wa Singeli.
Mitta thinks the dancer is the most instrumental when it comes to performance, and they do the most work to build the vibe and the crowd and the audience. So he says that they have the hardest job. Rehema, kuhusu wachezaji kwenye performance?
Dancers ni watu muhimu sana kwenye muziki wowote. Ndio maana unakuta hata kwenye bendi kuna na dancers. Na imeanzia kwenye bendi dance. Na mpaka sasa hivi kwenye Singeli. Kwa hiyo wao wanakupa hamasa ya wewe kuimba vizuri. Wao wakicheza wewe ndo unaimba vizuri, wanakupa ile motisha ya kufanya vizuri. Kwa hiyo wanasaidia sana kuleta ushawishi wa kufanya wewe vizuri.
So dancers are very important in the performance, and it started from the bands, the music bands we used to have. We used to have dancers entertain, and so it carries on to Singelli, and they're the ones that, as an MC, when I see them like vibing, it also gives me the vibe, and I keep going. So they keep the party going, so they're a very instrumental part of the performance. A question in the back.
Yes, hello. Question to Jay. Even if we were just traveling together. Yeah, we are running this project Afropollination, which is a collaborations between different African countries and Germany also, and integrating dance. And Jay has been doing like 2 rows of residencies, and last night it was the first presentation of what he will present tomorrow with DJ Diaki and Zoe McPherson. And for you, how does it feel? Do you look Singelli on another way now after these collaborations? It's the first time you work with so different persons. Yeah. And the second question, are there any musical genre you want now to go into or to mix with Singelli?
Okay.
Tafsiri. Anasema kuni Afropollination umefanya kazi na wanamuziki tofauti kutoka Afrika. Anasema imekubadilisha maoni yako unavyofanya muziki au unavyoona Singelli. Alafu la pili ni kwamba unaona muziki wa aina gani unataka kukamatia na Singelli.
Okay. Mimi naanza la pili.
Aya. He's going to start with the second question.
Kiukweli Singelli niseme kama chakula ilikuwa pilau. Yani kila mziki wote unaingia kwenye Singelli. Mziki wote wa kwenye nchi tofauti tofauti unaingia kwenye Singelli.
Lakini wewe utataka mziki gani kuupeleka, yani kuuingiza zaidi, yani kama watu wengine kusema mapiano, unaweza kuweka
mapiano hapana ya watu hiyo.
Unataka kuweka nini? Wewe unataka tubaki tu na Singelli yako?
Mimi nitabaki na Singelli. Sema nitazidi kuingiza sehemu tofauti tofauti watu wajue
viungo.
Yeah.
So saying truthfully, for me Singelli is like my pilau. Pilau is a spiced rice dish in Tanzania, which has a lot of spices. It's a pilaf of sorts. So he's saying just like a pilaf, a lot of things can go into it. He wants to keep it that way, and of course other ingredients can come in, but his meal is Singelli, and he's open to other influences, but there's no specific particular that. Haya, back to the front.
Kiupande wangu mimi nimefurahi sana kumix na watu tofauti tofauti kutoka nchi tofauti tofauti kama ilivyotukutanisha Afropollination. Yes, nimeenjoy, nimeonyesha kwamba Singelli inaweza kuingia sehemu yoyote. But tumekutana watu pale zaidi ya 3. Huyo anatoka German, huyo anatoka Mali, mimi natoka Tanzania. Kwa hiyo tumeenda kufanya kikawa kitu kimoja. Singelli na muziki mingine. Kwa hiyo na appreciate sana.
So he says he's valued the exposure he's had to other artists, and right now he's working with the 3 artists like from Mali and Germany, and what has shown him is that Singelli has the ability to permeate any space, and so he's grateful for that, and that's how he sees it.
Cool.
Yes.
I thank you all for joining us so much today. It's a real pleasure. Just following on from the question about musical cross-pollination, I was wondering for anyone on the panel, if there was one artist, any artist in the world that you could work with, collaborate outside of Singelli music, who would it be?
Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj.
For real.
So,
Mitta, unaambia kama ikitokea unataka kufanya collab na msanii yoyote duniani, ungependa kufanya collab na nani?
Yoyote duniani? Nicki Minaj.
For real.
Nicki Minaj for J Mitta. Rehema wewe?
Beyonce.
Whoa, Beyonce. Drake.
You know, I like rappers, and okay, Drake is nice, but I want someone who's kind of crazy like Cardi B. You know, like, yeah, a nice banger and Cardi B in it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Nicki Minaj, she's good.
Excuse me. She's good.
Yeah. Okay.
She's the goat.
She's the goat. Yeah.
What do you think both, like for especially nationally, the future for Singelli is? Also maybe to explain, like to frame it, is it just a sound that is really present in Dar es Salaam and the surrounding area, or is it something really national right now? What do you think, like on a national level, the future is? Will it professionalize? Will there be more opportunities, for example, young women to take up, producing, DJing? Or what do you think, as in music industry, it will morph into?
Like music wa Singelli sasa hivi unavyokuwa. Kwa chini au kupanda je? Pretty much. Yeah, okay, maybe Singelli, yeah, it's I listened in Dar es Salaam, but all over the country, you see each place you go, each region you go, like Singelli is the important, thing in every event, everything that Tanzanians do. And internationally, I can see Singelli going in so many places. I mean, evolving and getting bigger. Because as you can see, like most of my crew has traveled. I mean, in Europe, they had tours. So not only in the country, but internationally, it's doing good. And as a DJ and me as a producer, I think there are going to be so many female DJs and producers that are going to come in the future, because someone has to start. And I think there is someone who started, and I think there will be some people coming, after me, and everything will, be great, I think. If I answered your question. Okay, thank you.
I think my question's also a bit about being a female producer or DJ in a sort of more male-dominated space, and how maybe it's shifted in the time that you've done that, and if you see a difference in it now, or if it's like what kind of work needs to go into sort of protecting a space that you've created, maybe for more female producers. And if it's also changing the sound of the music also, if that makes sense.
Okay. Kwa Tanzania female producers hakuna. Yeah, so in our country there are no, or maybe less, maybe I don't know them, female producers, but I, as a female producer, it's kind of, at first, it was kind of overwhelming because, as I said, I got some people who weren't cooperative at all, like teaching me or giving me, lessons about the DJing to the producing. But when the pandemic hit, something like that, that's when I got my lessons. And it's a nice thing to do, and it's very easier for me and my mom to do some projects, because I can make a beat or do something and she can drop in it, do vocals, and we produce something, and I know her, she knows me, I know what to do with her. And not only her, but I'm looking forward to do work with another artist in our crew, and internationally, maybe if I get some artists who want to collab with me, then that's an opportunity I would love to do and use.
But generally, it's super hard. I kind of work with Usher, and
yeah,
there's one New Year's Eve, which happens to be her birthday, and we had a gig in Salaam, and we were getting booed off. Like,
yeah,
and we were like, they were like, no, we don't want this, and we're like, this is the sound of the country. You're gonna have to listen to it. But Usher goes through issues sometimes, like working with a lot of male producers because they're talented. So I know there's been instances of working with a big time hip hop producer, well, bongo flavor producer, and they would work on a track and then they'll never send it. And so there's a lot of like what do you say, hardship in those interrelations of where they might even steal her music and she would have nowhere to turn to because the artist board is most likely to protect that big time producer, and she has to sit there trying and begging to get the music back. So those are things that have happened. And also, I know there's once she had a performance and she was the first Singelli producer, and the radio station completely blocked her off and have not asked her back because they were shocked and they were amazed. So instead of the guy who, through the event, he went home and started training his wife to be the first Singelli female DJ, which she already had performed. So there's a lot of that.
It also brings the question of whether, like, as being respected as, or how you say it, it's like if you're considered as a female Singelli DJ or just a DJ in your own rights, and if there's still a separation in that, or if a lot more work needs to be done to sort of protect that space that you've created and get the credit that you also deserve, not just as female but also as
a musician.
As a musician, yeah.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work. They see first the female and then, yeah. I would say like right now in the country, in Dar es Salaam, we can say we have like maybe 4, like DJ Señorita, etc. Like maybe 4 female DJs that actually get to play the clubs, etc. Like it's a small number for a country of over 60 million. So you can imagine the kind of space Usher occupies, being a producer and a DJ and a vocalist and a songwriter.
So it's definitely time to get Nicki Minaj on board.
Listen, let's do it.
I'm wondering, are there also challenges that you face in touring in Europe? Are there, for example, more things than just programming a European festival or club can provide to you? For example, in terms of network or in providing the right context or anything? Or are there challenges that you face in, for example, playing here?
Changamoto.
Kuna changamoto mnapata kuja Europe, au kuna vitu gani mnahitaji kusaidiwa kukutana na watu, right? Ya kukutana na watu, contacts ili kusaidia kazi zenu.
Yeah. Safari ya muziki, kazi zetu.
Yaani ni kama hivi, mnahitaji nini? Mnahitaji nini kuendelea kufanya kazi zenu kutoka huku Ulaya? I guess.
Like for me,
jibu basi.
Like sasa sinategemea je, Mitta ataka nini? Wewe mama unataka nini? Nadhani mimi na mama tunapata shida ile, natengeneza, ndio hiyo tunasema watu wanatuibia, natengeneza beat au na kwa hivyo naona, alafu unaenda kwa studio nyingine ufanye vocals na nini, ndio hivyo mtu anashikilia nyimbo yako au kopi. Lakini nadhani na kutoka hapo kwenda sisi record ni kaenda mbali, si ndio? Kwa hiyo kupata some sort of place na equipment ambazo kila tutakuwa tunafanya hizo projects zetu, albums na nini. Yeah, lakini hivyo kitu kingine muhimu ni gigs, contacts za kupata kazi. Yeah, contacts za kuzunguka.
Yeah, so for Asha, she says, to circumvent the issues in Tanzania with just like production and etc. It's having a centralized space, like for instance, investing into CISO Records where they can have all the equipment whereby they don't have to go from this studio to this studio. You go to this studio, this person thinks this song has potential, sits on it. That would be a thing. But a second thing is like more gigs, more collaborations. Those are ways to put money in their pockets to continue what they do in Tanzania and elsewhere, well abroad.
And also, a festival could provide more residencies, for example, at studios. Are these sort of things you're thinking of then?
Yeah,
Or,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Anyways, I'll take this chance to introduce Nana and Zai. They're dancers. As Mitta and Rehema has said, that they're alchemists and the main vibe check and vibe bringers. If you recognize Nana from the documentary and the dancing, this is the star themselves. So, I mean, we can, if there's anyone who has questions for them, Maswali. They're happy to be here and they appreciate being here. And I think that will end our program. If there are any further questions, tomorrow, Mitta at Bygone, and Friday, mother and daughter duo at Panorama Bar. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. And Nana and Zai. Tell a friend, tell a friend.
Yeah, Satoshi.